Hello and welcome to this Swift tutorial video. In this video I am going to show you how to make a fully functional, very fun tic-tac-toe game. So if you want to know how to make a tic-tac-toe game that you can play with your friends, then continue to watch this video because I will show you exactly how to do just that in this video right here, right now. So as always, we start by creating a new Xcode project. Just double tap here. I am going to call this tic-tac-toe. Just make sure that the language is set to Swift, and if it is, just click next. And what I'm going to start with doing is laying out my storyboard. So this is my storyboard, and in order for this to be a tic-tac-toe game, we need some elements in order to make it a tic-tac-toe game. So I already have the elements that I'm going to need. So I have my board, and I have my cross, and I have my knot. And you can make this yourself by either doing it in Keynote as I did, or in any other editing software, or you can just take these by clicking the links in the description. But I'm just going to start by marking these and dragging them into my project. And then I'm going to drag in an image view that is going to display my board. So let's drag that a bit bigger. Make it a square as much as you can. Let's see, 375 by 3, let's make some precision here, 375. And then set the image of that image view to be equal to your board. Then now here we have our board, and now we're going to place some buttons on this board so that our user is able to place either a cross or a knot. So I'm going to drag that a bit bigger, that also, and I wanted to fill the whole square right here, so almost the whole square, and just make sure that it is a square. So I'm just going to make it 100 by 100, and I'm going to copy that. Or first I'm going to set an image for that button. So let's say cross, make it 100 by 100. One more time, it wanted to scale, and that's because the image is so huge. So let's scale it a bit down here, and just copy paste this 9 times and drag them in to their respective place. And if you want to, you can place restrictions on these buttons so that your tic-tac-toe game looks awesome on all devices. But I'm just not going to do that right now. If you want to know how to do it, you can just click one of my videos called How to Use Restrictions or Constraints. But here is the layout. And now we are pretty much done with the layout, or for storyboard layout. And we are going to head over. Let's make this an iPhone 6s so that when I preview it, it shows up like this. So let's jump over to the view controller because we're done in the storyboard. Oh well, we just have to connect it first. Let's see, main storyboard, and let's drag in all the elements. And this is easier than you might think, because all you have to do is drag in one button, control drag one button. I'm going to call it action because that's what it is. It's an action connected. And then what you do is you simply control drag each button to the same function. This way, this function will be called no matter which of the buttons you click on, which means that you don't have to create a separate action for each button, which would be quite a mess and take up too much of your time. So we're just going to connect them to a shared function. And one more thing that we're going to do here is we're going to give each of the buttons a tag. So this one I'm going to call 1, this one I'm going to call 2, and so forth with each of the buttons. So just make sure that you do that, because this is going to be pretty important, as you will see longer down the code. See, 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. If you have landed on 9 on the last button, you've done it correctly. So now we're just going to jump over to the view controller, and we are going to enable our user to place either a cross or a knot. And this we are going to do by first creating a variable that keeps track of whose turn it is. So I'm going to say active player is equal to 1, which is going to be cross. And then I'm going to check each time my user clicks on one of the buttons, I'm going to check whose turn it is or who the active player is. So I'm going to say if active player is equal to 1, then I'm going to say sender dot set image, and the image is going to be an UI image named, let's see, I named it cross.png, and for the normal control state, and if it isn't, if the active player is 2, then I'm going to place a knot. So let's see, let's do that, and I'm going to call it knot. So this way, each time our player clicks on one of the buttons, it's either going to display a cross or it's going to display a knot. So let's run this and see if everything is as it should be. And there's one thing that we needed to change, and that is of course when the user has placed their brick, we have to change, or what do you call it, a game piece, placed either a cross or a knot, we have to change it to the opposite. So here we're going to say the active player is going to be 2, and then active player is equal to be 1, so that we constantly change between the active players. There shouldn't be an error there. Great, let's try to run it one more time, and now everything should be fine. So let's try to click here, and it changes exactly as it should, but because we already have a placekeeper, we have to click sometimes before the button changes. But as you can see, we can place numerous I can override other placements, and that is something that we want to disable. We don't want our opponent to take our place and vice versa. So we have to keep track of where we have placed what. And we do that with an array that I'm going to call bar game, let's see, game state, and it's going to be an error, and the default is going to be 0. So if nothing has been placed yet, it's going to display 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 zeros, each 0 representing a place on the board. So now we are going to check if game state and then sender dot tag -1, because it's an array which starts at 0 and we have made our tags start at 1, so we have to do -1 is equal to 0. Only then can we place our game piece. So now we have done it so that we can only place one piece at one place. So let's try to also remove the default image that we have operated with so far, so that we can see the changes. Let's see, main storyboard, not launch screen. We're not going to do that yet. So click on them and just clear out the images. Let's see, I'm going to do that on all the buttons, just like that, so that we can better see where we have placed our buttons and where we haven't. There we go. Let's try to run our application and see the changes that we have implemented. And now we should be able to place our game piece, but no more than once, and it's going to alternate between cross and knot. So let's see how this works. Bam, and I can try to click and it overrides, which it shouldn't. So let's try to see what the problem is. I got it. So of course we have to, once we have placed our our game piece, we have to update it from a 0 to a number. So we have to say game state. That's the problem with creating bigger apps on the go. I have to correct some errors on the go. So let's see, game state dot sender dot tag -1, and then we have to update it to the active player. Here we go. So now it changes from 0, and that way we can't override any game pieces anymore. So let's see how this looks. So I'm clicking here and I can't override it, and it's not cross, not cross, not cross, not cross, exactly as we wanted to. We can now lay out the bricks, or I keep calling them bricks, but then crosses and knots, we can keep putting them on the board until we have filled everything up. And now we of course have to check if someone has won.